James Harden was named point guard of the Houston Rockets, moving over from his traditional position of shooting guard over the past few years as one of the biggest headlines from NBA Media Day that occurred yesterday. As you're watching this clip on Tuesday, I have a screenshot of some of the other major headlines because I found some things interesting before we get into the impact Harden will have. And we just did a clip recently on James Harden versus Klay Thompson. Have fun watching that. It got heated in the comment section. But let's take a look at this first shot. This is element C1. And it has to do with some of the other major news and event-related things that happened from Media Day. Paul Pierce will be returning for his one last season. Bosh we talked about already. You can check that out on the channel. That was from yesterday. Derrick Rose's civil trial is still under criminal investigation. He might miss training camp because of it, or time at least. Unsurprisingly, Tim Duncan was given a job by the San Antonio Spurs and their coaching staff. General Manager David Griffin has announced that Mo Williams will be retiring. Mo Williams, no problems. Not long ago, 52 points dropped as a Minnesota Timberwolf. And then at the bottom, Houston Rockets coach Mike D'Antoni has designated James Harden as his point guard. Tom Thibodeau spoke on Kevin Garnett. We have a clip on that going up later in the week, too, from Andre. But I want to get into the one that I think is going to interest the most, and that is James Harden's position change. Francis_Maxwell.
Great for the plug. I like it.
Houston does not have Dwight Howard. Their depth chart would look their starting five will be Harden at the 1, which opens up Eric Gordon to be their primary shooting guard. Two guys that are not necessarily the tallest for their positions. However, in the Western Conference alone, Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum play alongside each other, and they managed quite fine last year. The Clint Capella starting at the 5 as of right now for the Houston Rockets. Trevor Ariza at the 3. It's not strong enough to compete for a top 3 seed in the Western Conference. However, James Harden as the point guard. Do you think that this is going to require a different style of play for James Harden, or are we just going to see what we saw last year with the ball going through most of the time anyway?
Maybe like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Wow, that was quite a lot of years ago. Maybe like from 5 to 10 years ago, if you made this decision, you'd be like, what is he doing? He's a shooting guard. You want to get him the ability to get the ball in his hands, has the ability to shoot when he wants to because he's your best and the highest percentage shooter. A lot of your offense is going to run through him. But we are in a positionless NBA. A lot of teams stick to the positions, but some of the best teams don't really have that kind of same infrastructure that we used to see. Cleveland Cavaliers, Kyrie Irving, technically point guard, but really LeBron James takes the rock in his hands most of the time. Kyrie takes it as a shooter. You could probably interchange Steph Curry and Klay Thompson quite a lot. Even though Steph takes it with the ball in his hands, he still shoots a hell of a lot, and that's the difference. That's the main thing here, is if you're going to highlight what James Harden's best qualities are, is that he's a great shooter, he's got a great stroke, he's got the ability to drive to the hoop as well. So why not give him the ball in a position that most highest percentage shooters we see coming from now are point guards? We see Steph Curry shooting the ball nonstop. We see Russell Westbrook shooting the ball consistently. To me, Damian Lillard, another example. I think that it would be a bigger deal if it was, again, maybe 10 years ago. I'll go to that number. I think that because at that point, shooting guards weren't scoring at such a high percentage that they are now. I think that the league is adapting more so to shooting guards. And if you're not a point guard that shoots consecutively and is a high-scoring point guard, you kind of fall at the back of the pack. Like I think one of the exceptions is maybe Chris Paul, who doesn't shoot as much, but his assists and his vision, John Wall. But again, apart from Chris Paul, do you put any of them up there with Westbrook, with Steph Curry, Damian Lillard? It's hard to put them up there unless you score.
It depends. So one of the things that's interesting is when you look at the numbers for James Harden going into next year, for one, his usage percentage was higher last year than that of Russell Westbrook's. Keep in mind, too, his minutes per game were also higher than Russell Westbrook, so that helps. Right? It was. 38.1 minutes per game was the highest in the league. The thing he's got to work on the most is his turnovers, more so than even his defense, because, again, if he just tries, he can defend. What am I looking over there? What's up, guys? So James Harden alone, he had 4.6 turnovers per game. The closest to that was Westbrook with 4.3 in his 34.5 minutes per game. John Wall right behind there, but the best in the league in terms of the point guard position and those who facilitate more, like Chris Paul as the pure point guard, only 2.6 turnovers per game. Damian Lillard, only 3.2 turnovers per game. And the assist-to-turnover ratio is what messes up the idea that Harden was, yes, 6th in the league in assists last year. Higher than Damian Lillard, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Ish Smith, Kyle Lowry. I don't know why Ish Smith snuck into there. But
I was like, wait, all these
I'm reading down the list. Higher than Draymond Green last year in terms of the guys who play positionless. However, his assist-to-turnover ratio, the lowest amongst all those players. So if he can take care of the ball, per his usage a little more, yeah, sure, he can play point guard. What I would love to see is maybe a little drop-off in his points or just shots per game taken and facilitate. Get Eric Gordon some clean looks. Get down low with Clint Capella and make him work off the block. Because if they can facilitate some sort of really fluid team offense and it enables another asset of James Harden's game to get better at passing overall, that means he's going to get more open looks. They're not going to expect James Harden to just get the ball, get in an isolation set, drive to the rim, and get to the line, which he does pretty much better than anybody else in the league. So I guess maybe look it to be that way. If not, the only other comp I think I can make about moving James Harden to a point guard-esque position is kind of like what we saw from Allen Iverson and the 76ers in their heyday. Was Allen Iverson was a 2, played the shooting guard, but that ball was going through AI 98.9% of the time.
Just eliminate one of the
Just get rid of everybody else except Dikembe Mutombo, and you could just play 2-on-5.
And I think one of the things we're overlooking a little bit is this is the NBA. These are professional athletes with professional coaching. Much as we don't agree with the coaching all the time, is that it's not going to be a rash decision. They're not going to be like, all right, let's just move James Harden to the point. No, like this guy is valued at the highest regard in this franchise. The owner stated that he thinks he's the best player in the NBA. So they're making an intelligent decision here, thinking, where do we want to finish up? Yeah, 2 years ago, we managed to make it to the Western Conference Finals, right, off the back of a poor Clippers performance, yeah. But last season, we had a horrible year in comparison to what we had the season before. So something has to change. Bringing James Harden back and bringing in a couple more moving pieces, yes. But why not go with this? Why do we not look to the man who most of our offense goes through anyway and have him dictate the way this thing's going to go? Not saying that James Harden didn't dictate the game even when he was at shooting guard, but it just, again, it eliminates that transition process. Why not free up another player who you can put in that position?
Well, it's that plus, which is a great point, put the ball in your best player's hands, but on top of that, I think it's much better to run a backcourt with James Harden and Eric Gordon. If Eric Gordon can stay healthy, that would be the biggest key, than having Pablo Prigioni handle the ball and James Harden as the number 2. That just isn't a fast enough backcourt. Yeah. With Harden and Gordon, you have one of the more athletic backcourts in the league. Backcourts are the key, I still believe, to making deep playoff runs. Whoever's handling the ball, whoever's facilitating the offense and trying to at least lead the defense, which not James Harden's best asset. However, who knows?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
By the way, with him as the designated point guard, I would think you would want to, if you bet on Harden to win MVP before that designation, and my assumption now is the odds are going to be less in his favor, more in his favor to win because he's going to be controlling the ball more, so numbers go up.
How will it affect his defense? Because now when you think about it, some of the most...
He's going to be lined up against some smaller guys.
That's what I was thinking, right?
But better offensive,
rather
talented
than
guys.
coming up against other shooting guards that are perhaps bigger, just as big as him, because he's a big guy, but they're going to try to maybe drive to the hoop a little bit more, which is where his effort, I think, is lacking the most so when he has to defend anyone coming in, just does the side-by-side. But again, you're going to have to face against dominant point guards in the league as well. Like, these are guys that... Steph Curry, as much as he is fantastic with the ball in his hands, he doesn't lack effort defensively. Like, he will put himself in those positions and he'll try to monitor space and he'll try to limit you. Again, he's smaller than most of these bigger guys he's coming up against, but I think that James Harden's going to have a lot of not as much pressure on him because I think he deals well with pressure, but you're going to have to expect some form of effort, especially being a point guard in a league that relies so heavily on shooting point guards.
Yeah, I think you make fantastic points there. It's going to make the Rockets a more compelling team to watch this year. A lot of people, I'm not the biggest fan. I have to state this on every clip. I'm not the biggest fan of James Harden's game. However, I'm not that ignorant to believe that he's not a great player. He is. Francis, before we go, we'll throw to some other sights and sounds from Media Day itself. For one, Al Horford, here's number 2, taking some selfies.
Nice.
I love it because you see these guys in the jersey. Like, I don't know, that's the first time we've seen Al Horford in a Celtics jersey.
So that's why they wear their jersey, Jason. Because we were asking each other why.
Because they want to,
especially when they want to showcase, like, hey.
Yeah, but there's no problem. They got on the court. They got the green screen, the white screen, the gray screen. Well, they have many different types of screens.
Me and Jason were talking a little bit off camera how funny it would be for like in NFL Media Day that they have to come in all their padding, come in with their helmet, and be like, I'm so ready for this game in 3 weeks. Damn, it's hot in here.
Smash my head against the wall. Devin Booker put on 5 to 10 pounds.
Wow.
A little bit thicker, so he's getting a little stronger. Everyone always makes fun of me saying thick. You know what I mean, guys. Booker said playing some 3, he's going to look to play the small forward position as well as the number 2. Look out for Devin Booker all year long. My favorite quote of the day, Marcin Gortat. Asked if he spent the offseason studying Scotty Brooks' teams. Gortat still has it, man. No, I didn't study. I definitely didn't study in my 5 months off. Trust me, I ain't going to bullshit you here. I will study different things in the summer, the beach and the pool. Thibodeau, we can throw to him post, had a great quick 30 seconds on Kevin Garnett's retirement, which again, clips coming this week about that.
Okay, I think it would be appropriate to start off with talking about Kevin and what he's meant to the league, obviously the Timberwolves, and for me personally with the Boston Celtics winning a championship with him. I think that when you look at his contributions to the game, the way in which he played the game, very unique and special. The things that really stood out about him, not only the great talent, but his passion, drive, intelligence, all the things that separated him. And I think the mark of greatness is to do it over a long period of time. And he certainly did that. When he got to Boston, I thought, in knowing him from competing against him, you knew he was talented, but you didn't see that the way he played the game was also the way in which he practiced.
No pop?
There was, it was going on still, so I'm sure we can.
I'm sure we'll get some sort of very honest, very
Curry,
upfront.
Curry talked
response.
about KD. Draymond Green mentioned that they're not trying to win 74 games this year. It's not even on the agenda. And a few, again, we'll throw all that stuff as an outro for you guys. There's a bunch of tweets. Go to Bleacher Report's stream, and you can see it all minute by minute. But we kind of started doing this clip about 75% through it. So,
Are you excited for the NBA season, Jason?
30 days.
How many hours?
30 days.
Do the math.
30 times 24. 30 times 20 is 2 times 3 is 600. And 4 times 30 is 126. 720 hours.
I'm not good at math, so I'm going to take your answer as right. Transition out all you want.
720 hours, am I right?